Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Year of Magical Learning podcast, the YOML podcast. Today we actually go on a kind of off tilt just because we're doing book two of five
Yeah,
versus book one of five. And so this is a five-part series of a book that we really love. I think we did the first one before.
we did.
This is the second. So today we're talking about the Black Swan, and I guess this is your cue to tell us your reflection and what do you mean by
All
Umberto
right.
Eco's anti-library?
So, just quick context why this is two of five and why it's popping up now. As we just talked about the last book that we did 2 books ago with The Purpose Driven Life, that was the last book on my original list of books that Amelia and I had read together from April of 2020 until we started this Year Magical Learning writing journey in September of 2021, right? So all the books that were read and consumed during that period of time, I had built a big list and I was just like crossing it off each day as I went through. And then any new books, I would write those reflections. Then I would go back to my list. And, every single time that I would finish a new book, I'd write it, then I'd go back to the list and then continue writing each day, Monday through Friday, until I exhausted all that stuff, right? I had always planned to do a 5-part reflection for my top 5 favorite reads that I had done over this entire journey. And those were The Black Swan, Thinking Fast and Slow, Happiness Hypothesis, Humankind, and Sapiens. So those books were always with the intention in mind of being one of those books that I did a top 5 favorite reflection for. My intention was always, once I finished all the books, then I would start to write my multiple part reflections on those other books. And that's what you're going to start to see coming forward from now. So I finished all the other books on the list, and now I was like, oh, well, now I got to go and finish my 5-part reflections, and so you'll see these mixed in now in between the new books that were being completed, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so this installment is going to be sprinkled throughout the rest of
Yeah.
the, you know,
Yep.
it's not going to be in
So
sequential order.
part 3 will be in a couple weeks, and part 4 will be in another couple weeks, and part 5 will be in another couple weeks. So it's not going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we're back to Black Swan. Oh, we're back to Thinking Fast and Slow.
Important that the book it's about the reflections and
It's about what
lessons
we
that
learn.
we are trying
Yeah.
to instill in our lives.
Right. And this one is one of the most important ones that you and I both know and love. And this is about one of my favorite lessons I think I've ever learned from any book, which is Umberto Eco's anti-library. The idea of the anti-library has just been lodged in my brain since the moment that I first heard it when I read it in the Black Swan. And if you have no idea what the anti-library is, I'll read the passage for you of what it is. The writer, Umberto Eco, who we will do his famous book later on down the road called In the Name of the Rose, belongs to a small class of scholars who are encyclopedic, insightful, and non-dull. He is the owner of a large personal library containing over 30,000 books and separates visitors into 2 categories. Ones that react with, whoa, Signori, Professor Dottore Eco, what an amazing library you have. How many of these books have you read? And then the other people, a very small minority, who get the point that a private library is not about the ego-boosting appendage, but a research tool. Read books are far less valuable than unread books, meaning the library should contain as much of what you do not know as what you can possibly afford, basically. You will accumulate more knowledge and more books as you grow older, and the growing number of those unread books on the shelves will look at you. Indeed, the more you know, the larger the row of unread books. Let's call this collection of unread books the anti-library. This is all the unknown book. This is all the books you want to read and consume. This is all the learning you want to have in your life. That is the anti-library. And I love this concept. Like, I just absolutely love this concept because I don't know about you, like, when you consume a book and you get like the Black Swan, right? And you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like this feels so good. This is why you learn. This is why you read. This is why you find these books. The How to Raise an Emotionally Intelligent Child book, or something along those lines. And I mentioned that in this reflection, which sucked. But at the same time, for every 3 of those books, you find your one Running with Sherman, or your one Born to Run, or you find your Will, or your anti-library. Those books that you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. I'm learning so much and everything is so new and it's changing your paradigms of how you view life. Now, what happens when you read these books, though, is they're done. Like, it's in your brain. Like, the anti-library, the other stuff you learn about from the Black Swan, the other stuff you learn about from Sapiens, this stuff just becomes a part of you. You can find ways to make it a part of what you do every single day, but nobody gives a shit about what you just learned. Let's be honest. If you walked into a party tomorrow and you start talking about Umberto Eco's anti-library, somebody's going to be like, I'm going to go talk to somebody else. This is about you and about what you learned. But really, what you really care about is finding that next Black Swan, finding that next, humankind, finding that next, like, a learning adventure that just, satisfies all of the dopamine inside of you and makes you want to keep learning and keep going and keep growing. So that is the value of the anti-library. That is the value of a true learner, I feel like, in this world, is somebody that's like, I don't care what I've learned. That's done. I don't give a shit. Like, like, who gives a shit? Like, it's all those other books that I want to read. And I pulled up actually to do this on this particular one. This is my wish list. So there's like 424 titles right now. And this is my anti-library. Luckily, we don't have to buy books these days. We can just keep them in here. But like, these are the books that I have sitting on the shelf that stare at me menacingly, that I'm like, oh man, I want to read this book about visual thinking, this book about, this is what it sounds like. It's about, what the music you say and loves, what the music you love says about you, and mind wandering and evolutionary ideas. I'll probably never read a 10th of these books, and this list will continue to grow for the rest of my life. But I love this list way more than the list of all the books that we're doing on this entire journey, because this is the shit that I don't know yet. And this is the stuff that I want to go learn. And this is where I know that needle in the haystack of the next Black Swan exists, where I'm going to go back to True and I'm going to go, oh my God, I just read the best book ever. You got to, I want to talk to you about it. Like, that's the best part about all this entire journey. This is truly the learn something new every single day idea in mind. And this is why you do it. So I'll pause there. Love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that you and I see eye to eye on these kind of things. And when we come across this concept, oh my God, it's like genius. And how come I never think of it? It's just because we, as a human being, have the genetics to behave in a certain way. As far as I see it, human beings have the need to explore, have the need to find out new things, to kind of like understand somebody else. Let's say you watch movies, right? When you watch a movie that's really good, you watch it again. Well, is it as good as the first time?
Yeah.
No, because
No.
you already seen it, you expect it. There's no twist in the supply, and there's no surprises. And so your value on something you read already, because it's the way that we have been born into. We have this gene to be able to explore new things, and we focus and pay attention to the thing that is not known to us. It's the unknown that we want to search and explore. That's why for us, we always want to learn. And the thing is, a lot of time people take the word learning to be like a negative connotation, just because
Right.
associate something bad with. But learning
like
is
school
not.
or
Yeah, because learning is learning something new, not in any particular approach, because the learning that you think of is always about a standard from the society's perspective approach. Hey, you gotta go
Right.
do a certain thing, you have to memorize a certain thing, and to those
And then
approaches are
prove
not.
that you know it, and then
Yeah,
memorize it.
yeah, and exactly, and those are not exactly the approach that may align with you. So you think that learning is that, but learning is anything that you do, for where it's go through the visual, the audible, the touch, the senses, whatever it is that I mean, some people learn through playing with other people, to learn
Right.
through communicating with friends, or learn through playing video games, or learn through a bunch of. It doesn't have to be learned through the society's perspective of what learning is. That's what human beings are made to do. That's why we as a species want to have this meaningful relationship, and we want to do things that resonate with who we are. Just like I say, if I'm big and strong, then I like to play maybe football or some sport that requires some physical, that I can use my gifts to kind of utilize them, using the gifts, right? If I'm able to run fast, or I able to play tennis well, I have good hand-eye coordination or whatever, then I do
Yeah, you
certain
want to
things
play. Want to
as
play a new
that. Like,
opponent. Like, I want to
right.
play somebody I've never tried against. I want to hit a new shot that I've never done, where I'm like, oh my God, like that is the best feeling ever, when you make this new shot that you're like, holy shit, I didn't know I could do that. Like, that's amazing. I mean, yeah, you want to hit it again and again and again, but it's that feeling of playing that new opponent and problem solving in that new match. And like, That's the fun of tennis. Like if you just made me go sit on a tennis court all day long and hit forehands, I'm like, I like it, but it's like, I've done this. Like, you know, what I haven't done is I haven't played this person in a match before. Like, let's go.
Right,
Like, let's
right.
figure
I
this
mean,
shit out.
and
Like,
that's the thing is, we as this being that needs to explore, wants to utilize the gift that we have, whatever the gift is. Maybe you're strong, you're a thinker, you're a writer, whatever it is. You get to do these things, and when you get reward center, and the benefit, the value you put on the benefits are high versus something that you already know. When you already know something, right, or you can beat somebody, kind of shuts off. Just like, let's say you as a good tennis player and you play somebody who just started a month ago. To you, that game isn't enjoyable.
no,
It
no,
isn't
hell no.
enjoyable.
Like,
So
I've played that game. It's on my shelf. It's been sitting there getting dusty since I was 5 years old. I don't want to revisit that shelf, that book. I don't care. I already know that shelf. I know that thing inside and out. I've played that game. I've done that stuff. I'm good. I'm ready to move on to the next level.
right. So this is why the anti-library is so impactful
Addictive.
in a way that once you see it, you understand that, hey, the things that's going to give me the most reward just because the things that's on here, that's the thing that I have yet to discover
Yeah.
versus something I've watched before. Like you say, a bunch of books in your wish list, quote unquote, anti-library, right? This is where, hey, maybe there's something interesting here. Something here caught my eye. I want to learn more about that versus something you've seen before. If you don't enter books, think of the movies, right? There's a bunch of movies you've seen before,
Right.
whether they're Star Wars or Titanic, whatever. How many times can you watch a movie, whether or not it's the best movie you've ever seen? How many times can you rewatch the movie over and over again and not getting sick by it, right? So you look at like Titanic, right? You can watch it 5, 6 times, but the first time it's really great. I mean, you have the
It's an
best
incredible
time,
movie.
amazing. The second time, not so much. My emotion, it's just not triggering.
I mean, you've already I already know what's gonna happen with Jack and Rose. I get it,
Like,
but it's
the
cool.
second time, the first time you probably cry your boss out for 2 days straight. The second
Right.
time, I don't feel it. The third time, it's like, I hate that guy. Diminishing return is kind of like falls to the floor.
It does. I mean, it really does. The only thing that keeps me going with books like The Black Swan is, like, if you said, "Hey, Chris, go reread every book in this entire journey," I don't know that I would want to.
There's only certain books that you want to reread a couple of times.
Bit more, right?
Well,
Like,
the reason why I read Thinking Fast and Slow twice, I read it twice, right? The reason for that is because the subject is so complex to understand the first go, right? That's why you need the second round to kind of, because the second round to me is almost like I discovered new concept because I missed it the first time because I wasn't even have the capacity to take in the information. So I kind of read through the book the first time and I understand. And I say it again, I'm thinking fast. So it's a huge book, right? It's a lot of concept in there, right? And so you kind of read through it, but you're gonna miss like 90% of all the stuff you read in there because it's very technical, right? And with me being the ability to be like this nerd, I understand a lot of it, but not nearly as I say 10%. So that means reading through the second one, I'm probably gonna have a lot to learn because I can see, because we're talking about certain concept that you hear it for the first time. You don't really understand it until you let it marinate in your head.
And then you go live
over it and say, well, I'm close. I'm close to understanding it.
Right.
So let me read it again, see if I can get any piece of new nuggets of information that kind of give me full understanding, right? Like something about the line of, the evidence of no cancer or no evidence of cancer.
Right.
What's the difference? Right? So it's not really clear and direct in that concept. Like evidence of no cancer or no evidence of cancer. What's the difference?
Evidence of no cancer.
Evidence of no cancer or no evidence of cancer. This is in the book Black Swan, by the way.
Well, I must miss it.
You missed it.
Evidence of no cancer.
I have evidence of no cancer.
Well, if you have no evidence of a cancer, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
This is where
evidence of no cancer.
Exactly. This is exactly what it means. Is because when you say, this is where we're talking about the, what was it?
That was in Black Swan. Like, I mean, to be fair, I'm not saying don't ever go read books.
It's complex, right? You and I have to think about it because you think about, I'm confirming that, hey, it's a positive. I found evidence. There's no cancer.
Look,
I found no evidence of cancer. that doesn't mean you don't have cancer. As you didn't see it. A big difference.
Right. That's true.
So this is when Nassim Taleb is talking about probability, right? The fat tail and
The long tail.
the long tail, right?
The fat head
Fat
and the
head,
long tail.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're talking about the difference because this is what people are trying to trick you and say, hey, there's no evidence of cancer. You think that, hey, I have no cancer. But that's the thing. It's a trick because when you say there's no evidence of cancer, that does not mean there isn't cancer. It's just the way you word that.
Right.
When you say there is evidence of no cancer, it's completely different perspectives.
Agreed.
Right? So even a tiny little blip of a concept that's in the entire fat book, right? For us to sit here and discuss about it, that is complex. That's why I'm giving an example of why it's complex. I mean, this book can be go back and look again and see what I want to understand more because there's so many things packed into a book that the Black Swan, Thinking Fast and Slow, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These are like
I think I did
like
a 5-part
40,
reflection down the
50
road for
years.
Anti-Fragile too.
Yeah, Anti-Fragile is not something easily understood, right?
But no,
Even of Nassim Taleb's book, right? They're not easily understandable. So you have to, first of all, you have to read it carefully, which most of the time I do because I listen to every word. And second of all, you're gonna have to reread some of these because some of these concepts, even if I say it to you the first time, you say, "Hey, true," say it again, right? Because it's like, well, what's
you
the
got to
difference?
think. I mean, you got to think and then apply it to your life and figure out where those scenarios exist.
And these books, some of these books deserve because it's still things to explore. So my point in that is because we are this being that needs to have the ability to explore, right? We are an explorer for whatever reason. We need to explore things. We need to have things that is changing, the things that is completely to be discovered. We need to discover things. We need to explore and discover. That's who we are. So when we are that kind of person, the entire library aligns perfectly with that paradigm. Just because
it gets even better too, in my opinion, because books, and I shit you not, I wrote this in this reflection. I shit you not. I didn't even realize that there is not a way possible for a human being to consume all of the literature that's ever been written in this entire world. It is not possible.
It's not possible.
It's impossible to do like
in the one that's lost.
Right. I didn't even know this. As I keep going on this journey, I'm 300 plus books into this whole journey. I wrote Reflection 329. And the longer that you go into this stuff, you go, holy shit, I haven't even put a dent in anything that I want to actually know. Whoa. Like your mind just gets blown at that point in time.
I mean, it's like first one book you took off the shelf and you read it, and then you look up and then you see another fucking shelf behind it, and you go pick another book and then you see that. So every book you read, there's like 100 book more that say, hey, there's 100 book that I haven't noticed before.
Oh no, that's the anti-library. You look it up and you're like, oh no,
it's like, oh yeah, I have
no,
more to go.
It's oh no, but oh yes at the same time. It's like I want to find my next Black Swan. But to go back to your point about like, mining back through some of these books. Now there is probably, I don't know, I'm going to say 25 books out of the roughly 300 plus that I've read thus far in this journey that I absolutely want to keep on my library shelf because I do want to go mine those deeper and to go back to them. And I've revisited a few of them over this time, and I know that I should, and I know that I will once this journey is over to go like, look, I want to go spend time again with the Black Swan, and I want to go spend time again with, Happiness Hypothesis, and I want to go spend time again with Anti-Fragile because I know I didn't get it all on the front end of it, even though I wrote a 5-part reflection because it was so stimulating.
Yeah, that's part of reflection, but
there's
20 40 lessons in there, so you only took 5 out of it.
Exactly.
So you left a bunch on the table. So that's what I'm saying is some of these books, it's like somebody's whole life experience and research compressed and orchestrated in something that can give you in a nice little
these are my notes from Anti-Fragile, and I'll just show you my notes from like the random other, but look at all these notes, right? Like, this is a lot of notes taken in a book. Here, what was the book I was just talking about of,
how to raise a emotional intelligence kid.
Yeah, I don't even know if I took a note on this thing. I don't think I did. Give me another book, just random one that's from this journey that I didn't really love. Hang on.
Did you read Let People Go Surfing?
Let My People Go Surfing. All right, so we'll go to Let My People Go Surfing. Not a lot, right? Like not a lot of notes. I'm surprised that was
This dude is nuts.
a recent book that I didn't really love. Quentin Tarantino's on cinema speculation. It's not that I didn't love the book. I just didn't learn a lot in it. I actually liked the book, but like, here's my notes from cinema speculation. It's like 4. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, am I going to go revisit this book? I don't think so, right? Like, it's like, oh, cool. Bullet was really cool of a movie. Like, what I loved the most about cinema speculation, and I mean, we'll get to it in the future, but the title says it all. It's like, meaningful work is contagious. I loved Quentin Tarantino's enthusiasm for film, right? Like it came across and it was really cool. And it made me excited about film, even though I don't really like film that much. The contagiousness of his meaningful work, like I felt that energy and I felt like drawn in by that, right? But what did I learn in that book? I didn't learn much. Like Bullet was a good movie. I haven't seen it. I should probably check it out. But my point of what I'm getting at is there's books like Anti-Fragile where I have a library that I wrote of going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I got to write this down. I got to write this down, you know? And then I have other books where I'm like, what did I just learn in that book? You know, like did I even learn anything in that book? I don't know. You know, I have like 2 notes, you know, like those are ones, they're on the shelf. It's fine. I read it. If I'm at a party and somebody's like, oh yeah, I read The Yearbook by Seth Rogen, I'm going to go, oh, I read that too. Like, oh, it's great. It was a good book. Cool. That's it. Like, great.
I mean, there's certain things that, you know, you don't find valuable
right
from the book just because, you know, hey, whether or not you already know it, it doesn't align with what you value. And so those book doesn't give you the I guess the high valued perspective, high value object from your perspective, and it doesn't energize you, right? So whatever you find that energize you is like finding something that you can apply to make yourself better, to discover, to explore more. That's what makes life memorable and have a positive emotional trigger.
Why do people love to travel?
It's an experience. They want to learn and discover new things. And
why do I not like going to Chicago?
Because you've been there.
I've been there 50 fucking times. Like, I don't care about going to Chicago. Why do I think fondly of Florence and of Lisbon and of, you know, other like it's no different than the Anti-Library.
That's right. And that's what I'm saying is everyone wants to go outside of their hometown to go visit. You can live in the most fucking like tourist city in the world, and people will go out and say, so people in Florida will come to Texas to Alamo and visit the Rock.
Right. Yeah,
right. Some limestone. It's like people say, you don't go to the River Walk, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I don't go.
River what?
Like, my wife is from San Antonio, and you know how many times we've gone to the Riverwalk since. I mean, we go down there every year for weeks at a time, right? Like you know how many times I've gone to the Riverwalk?
Probably once or twice.
Like I think maybe 3 times total. One of those was for our wedding, where we had our rehearsal dinner. Another time we went down for like her mom wanted to go shopping at that one random mall that's like at the end of the Riverwalk or whatever, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like beyond that, like we've been like 2 or 3 times ever, you know.
I told him I'm from Seguin, right? And Seguin is like fucking 30 minutes outside San Antonio. So I said I'm from Seguin, and people say, you know, what you know, like maybe it's like some kind of holiday. I say, hey, you should, you know, if you visit San Antonio, you go there. And I say, go Riverwalk. Why? What's there?
Why would it, yeah.
Am I missing something?
Stupid restaurants on a little river.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is because we've seen it. Right. Once we've seen it already, that value diminished. So for us to have books that we read on a shelf, it's just wasting space. It's collecting dust. Movies that you watch already and you collect put on a shelf, that thing's just collecting dust. I mean,
you know,
the audience, people tell me if I'm wrong. You have like CDs, right. Movies, DVDs, and
those DVDs video cassette, right? Are the worst. Like you just,
it's like it's collecting dust. How many times have you seen it? You probably have like the whole series of Star Wars, right? And people like buy you for Christmas gifts or whatever. Like this is one of the best movie series I've ever made. And even then, right? It's sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Tell me
Right.
if I'm wrong, right?
Right. So this journey, I got a confession to make. This journey has been so important to my life, right? Like, you know, when I say this journey, I mean like what became what we're doing right now, but like, you know, this journey with Amelia and all that other stuff, right? As you know, a lot of these books that I've consumed on this journey have been Audible books. Like I would say it's probably at this point in time that it's 90-10 at this point in time, you know, in terms of 90% Audible and 10% traditional reading, I guess, you know, sitting down with like a hard book.
See, I don't
When
read books
I
if it doesn't have pictures in them.
when I got to a certain point in this journey, I wanted to remember some of this stuff almost as like trophies with things that were impactful books that I can look at. Similar to, like you say, when you buy a DVD, like, oh, I love Titanic. I just want to see that I can look at Titanic and remember all that I loved about it. You know what I mean? But you can put it on your wall. So when I was redesigning my basement and I was putting custom built bookshelves down there, I was envisioning, I'm going to go buy all the ones that I did as an Audible book. I'm going to go buy all these books, like, you know, like 100 of these books. And I just want to fill my shelf with books that I've already read, you know, on there so I can look at them and know that time that Amelia and I had spent with each other. And I did for like 3 weeks, like every single day, like a Amazon shipment would come, and it was like I bought them all like at one time, and it was like a new book, you know, like 5 books would come a day or something like that. And you know, I'd put them down on the shelves that I'd built, and like now that I like look at them, it almost is like funny because I'm like, I'm glad they're there, but like I have no desire to go buy all the rest of the books that have been on this journey that I've done as like an Audible book, you know, because like it's like what a waste, like what a waste of bookshelf space. Like I'm never gonna. It's hard now for me to even throw those away, but now they're just a waste. Now they're just sitting on my shelf. Like nobody, like I would love to almost give them away to people and be like, look, oh, I loved Range. Like it was an amazing book. I feel like I got good value out of that book, and I don't want to go mine that any further. Here, somebody take Range off my hands. Just take it.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't want it. Like, you know, like it's one of those things where like, you know, Umberto Eco, like maybe he read 2,000 of his 30,000 books. I don't know. Like that'd be a shitload of books to read, but like let's say he read 2,000 of his 30,000 books that he had in his personal library. Like I don't even know why they're even still there. Like why doesn't he just, if he just reads it and like unless he doesn't absolutely love it and he wants to go mine it further, just give it away. Like like
Right. So
it
the
doesn't
entire
matter.
library it's like your wish list, right?
Right.
The moment that you like my wish list is the moment that I'm buying it, and I'm not gonna buy it until I'm ready to read it. So when
Right.
I'm buying it, it goes off of my wish list because
Right.
it's
Exactly.
right.
Yep.
So it's the entire the moment that you consume that books go off the shelf so that have room for new books to come in.
Exactly.
And the thing
Exactly.
is, when you have 30,000 books, right, and you come across a problem you want a solution for, the solution is in one of those books. You
Right.
know you have the solution at your fingertips. All you have to do is query and look. And so
Yep.
that is the power of an entire library. If you have a library of all the books that you read already, what's the point? You already know there's no point in having it there.
Like it's literally no point to go back to Chicago unless like you just have to go back to Chicago, you know, because I got business there, I got family there, I have seen it, you know, like there's no point. Like I don't want to go back. If I could never go back to Chicago, if I knew nobody that lived there, like I would never go back to Chicago again for the rest of my life.
And the simple fact that if we watch a movie, right,
Off the top of my head, maybe like 4 movies that I've ever seen multiple times in my life. Maybe.
exactly,
Like, and that's only because they just came on TV sometimes, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that movie. It was pretty good.
and you're just trying to consume the time. You're not really interested, right? And so
I've seen Happy Gilmore. I'm good.
you're
Yeah.
just wasting time watching something because you need to waste some time, right?
Right.
And that's the thing is, you're. I mean, the reason why I'm bringing up the movie is everybody's watching movies, and everybody knew what I'm talking about when I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying, hey, when you watch a movie a second time, it isn't as fun for you, and watching for a third time,
Like, what am I doing?
your mind's like trying to beat you up.
Now,
Not only that you zone out, but
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I mean, 100%. Yeah, you're like,
you
why am
get
I watching
depressed.
old school again for the fifth? I remember being back in college and like, being in our dorm room, and that was all you had. We didn't have cable or anything in our dorm room, and all we had was our DVD library. I'm like, what do you like? Talking to my roommate Rob, who was one of my best friends from high school, that he and I were rooming together. I'm like, what do you want to watch tonight? And he's like, I don't know, like old school, I guess. Fine, let's watch old school. And then you put it on, and it just plays all night long. And I like I could recite damn near every line from the movie, but like you know, I mean, it always made me chuckle a little bit, but still, I was like, God, can we find another old school? Because this movie is amazing, but like, you know, can I find another one of these? If I had enough money, I would just go to Walmart every day and I would keep buying a new movie just to find something new to watch.
I mean, that's what you do on Netflix. Is like you keep searching for new movies because the movies that you watch already, it doesn't interest you as much, right? It doesn't give you the satisfaction. Like your level of value for that piece, it's diminished tremendously. I mean, it drops tremendously from the first time you watch it. So especially how you watch it too, because the way that I watch a movie or the way that I read something, right? I'm focused on it 100%, meaning that whatever, I won't miss a single details. But that the fact that I did that, right? Once I've seen it, I cannot watch it again. It has to be something more, whether it's something that I don't understand yet, or I need to find something different to discover. If not, my mind can't take it. It depresses me for whatever reason. If, for example, it's some kind of a plot or a twist that is so complex that I haven't understand yet, and I may watch it again because I want to unravel and understand it more. But if and the problem is like a lot of times the writers they took a lazy approach and kind of wrap up something so it's simple but it's not fitting. And to me, that's a bad movie for once. And when you wrap something like that, it's like for me, there's nothing to decipher.
Right.
It doesn't bring you any interest into watching the show. Those movies, I would never watch it again. If you have to put it on again, I just can't watch it. I just have to leave or I have to change the channel or whatever. The ability to uncover something new, that's who we are. Yeah, and we need to manifest that characteristics. And the anti-library gives you exactly that. If you can see it from that perspective, like I said, you have 30,000 books. Most of the problem that you encounter, you have a solution in one of those books, and you know the answer's there. It's collecting dust, and it's a waste of time, and a lot of time it's depressing.
Agreed. And it's ironic because I'm sure if Umberto Eco, I don't know if he's still even alive. No, he died in 2016. But like, you know, this guy needed to amass that many books over the course of his life. Like, I mean, he was just like, oh, a library just came available. I'm gonna go buy a couple thousand books or something like that, and see what I can find out of this thing. Like for us, literally, just log into Amazon.com, and every single book that you can ever query and imagine is there. And then it's up to you to just curate that and find that. But like we don't have a 30,000 book anti-library. We have an infinity. I guess not infinity. We have a infinity to us, like anti-library.
Yeah.
It's just out there. Just go find it. There's not an infinity amount of movies.
Tremendously harder to put into movies and cost a tremendous amount of money too. Yeah. So you're talking about a very, very small percentage of movies. And most of the movies are not very complicated in terms of the plot, in terms of the things that you can learn from. It's just basically regurgitation of the same fucking story over and over again. I mean, it's nothing new. And so you're not learning anything new. Somebody just ripped off some other stories from the past and made it into a new character. And it's a remake of so many movies, like The Maverick, for example. It's a remake of a movie. Right. The big pop Terminators. If we make it then another movie, it's like it's not new. And in the stories, you look at Harry Potter, right, versus Star Wars, right? It's the same fucking plot, no different. It's just put into a different period and different environment, but it's the same story. It's it's a ripoff of Star Wars.
Yeah, no,
but the thing is, once you realize that, man, this is not interesting, and it becomes dull, and it becomes depressing. When something is dull, it's depressing.
How many cities are there to travel in this world? I don't know, a couple thousand. You could conceivably go to all of the cities in the world, if you wanted to, right? And there's some of them you want to go back to. Like Paris is amazing. You need to spend at least a couple weeks there to get to every area of the city or something like that. Sure, fine. Go mine that a little bit deeper or something like that. But you could conceivably travel to all those cities.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many weeks you've been there, how many days you've been there. It matters if you have explored all the things you want to explore and you're interested in. Once you have no interest in it, regardless of whether you spend a day or a week or a month or a year, right? you don't want to go back because you say, well, I've seen it. What's the point?
I'm
Like,
good.
for
I'm good.
example, I live in Seguin, right? So I've seen the river walk, like, I don't know, it's there. So for me to say, well, go to the river, I don't want to go. I mean, it's the last
I'm
place
not
I want to
going
go.
there. Yeah.
It's the
Right.
last place I want to go. You know what I mean? But that's the thing is because I've seen it, right? And you talking about Paris. Let's say Paris, and you go one day, and you, for whatever reason, be able to pick the best tour guy, show you the best spot in one day. I guarantee you, after that day, you want to go again. But if you go to Paris and you only spend one spot here, right? There's other spots you haven't seen, so you probably go back because
Sure.
you're not going back to the same place. You're going back to a
Right.
different place, right? This is where the interest keeps you going because
Right.
it's the discovery of the things that your mind craves. When it craves it, right, it gives you the emotional feedback to tell you, hey, this is good and this is enjoyable. You like it, right? Versus a
Right.
negative emotion where, hey, this is boring, my mind's shutting down, and when it shuts down, you're trying to keep it awake. The struggle to keep it awake creates this weight on your shoulder,
It's
and
depressing.
it's
It's
depressing.
depressing.
That's my point.
Let's pretend the Black Swan is New York City, and I'll give this example of I have an employee that most of my team lives in New York City. 7 of my 8 employees that I am directly responsible for leading that team they're in New York City. One of those people moved to New York City when they dreamed of going to New York City their whole entire life. They grew up in Colorado and in Texas, and they thought of New York City like, this is like the place that I want to be. This is where I'm gonna, whatever it was, there was this magnetic draw for this particular person to go to New York City. And he's lived there now 3 years. And he said the first 6 months, every single day, he would get out of his house and he'd walk around the city and he'd walk to somewhere new. And it was fascinating. Every single day, he was just out there hoofing it miles and miles and miles a day. After you get off of work, he'd just go walk and figure out some new place to be and blah, 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 blah. Now he basically never, 3 years later, he basically never leaves his 300 square foot condo because he works remote. And he's like, I hate it. He's like, I feel like I'm trapped in a page. And to give that example of, like, if the Black Swan was the only book you told me I could ever read for the rest of my life, I'd hate it. Yeah, I might be able to mind that, 5 times, 10 times, whatever. The 15th, the 20th, the 50th time you made me read the Black Swan again, and if I woke up every single day and was like, you got to read the Black Swan again, I'd be like, I hate fucking Nassim Taleb. I can't deal with him anymore. Like, I don't want to read this ever again. It's like you can't eat the same meal every single day of your life. You can't live like the idea of New York is only the idea of New York until it's not the idea of New York. And you're just like, fuck, this place is just smelly and gross and dirty. And, there's people that are bums trying to beat me up every time I walk out of my apartment building. Like, the rose colored glasses wear off and you're like, I mean, who cares?
And it are fast too, because of our ability to absorb the experience. When we absorb the experience, right, the interest, the level of value of interest drops, like from like let's say 100% to like 10%. So it's not like a gradual drop; it's like deep, just straight drop down,
plummets,
right?
It's like it's plummets.
Pick out any favorite movie that you have, right? You cannot watch it so many times. You can watch like the Sound of Music for the 50th time. I say, you can watch for the first 2 minutes, and you say, hey, never mind. I thought I want to watch it again, but I was wrong. So you changed it.
And unless it's like your fascination, unless it's like tennis for me, or like cinema speculation for Quentin Tarantino.
No, because it's the same. Because you're talking about tennis, right? Tennis has so many different variables, so things are always different in outcomes. When you're looking at a book, when you're looking at the library, the book has one thing. Let's say you're looking at like a compound effect. It gives you one particular concept. Once you learn it, there's no need for the book.
Yeah, that's good.
Because of the multitudes of outcome that is unknown to you, your sense of discovery is still going to give you the dopamine hit, and you're going to enjoy it.
Always new, no matter what. Every opponent is completely different.
You're different. You're a different guy.
I'm different when I walk.
The opponent is different, so the outcome will be different. The environment is different. The timing is different. The way you feel is different. So all this combination just on the surface is going to change the outcome in a million times. You can do that a trillion times, and you have a slightly different outcome. So you're still going to have the dopamine hit to your discovery gene. So it's going to be enjoyable for you. It's not the same thing as taking one concept, and when you read a book, it's static. It doesn't change. Right? So Golden Goose or the PCP or whatever in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it doesn't change the second
TPC
time
balance.
right? You're talking about like the emotional bank account, right? It
Right.
doesn't change. It had diminishing value to you the
You're right.
second time and third time. It drops tremendously steeply on subsequent iterations.
You're right. Like, I mean, 100% you're spot on right. This is about dopamine, really, is what it is. Like, this is about feeding your values with new things to explore, and you can always learn new shit from books. Like, there's always something new to learn. Is it gonna be the most mind-blowing? No, but some of them are gonna be, and you're gonna go, fuck, like, I just learned so much stuff from this book. It blew my mind. Like, and it's amazing.
You look at like the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I mean, Dr. Stephen Covey, he spent his entire life, and even the
Yeah.
things that's passed on to him, right? All of the ideas and experiences and all of the things that he's learned and lessons he collected over the years. So over his entire year, he's collected, and he probably collected from the other people that he stood on their shoulders to give you this orchestrated fashion of ideas to kind of stream into your head, right? Right? He is taking his whole life work in certain series of books. There's like 4 books, right? This guy is putting all this together for you, and the thing that he gives you is not obvious. The Black Swan is not obvious. Anti-fragile is not obvious. But these are something you can learn, and you're talking about the golden nuggets of things that you can say. To me, when you have 30,000 books in your entire library, you pick up a book. If it interests you, you continue and you read the things, and you're gonna have the value that to you is gonna be immeasurable.
Right.
And yes, there are books that doesn't align with you because you're not aligned with the values that the book is expressing. So you don't have to read it. You can just say, I kind of skimmed through this book, not interested.
Right.
This is why you and I talk about some of these books, and I pick up some of the books and say, hey, you like this book because I know you're this kind of person. This book is talking about this. So those books I would follow because I would put them in my entire library, and then I'll pick it up because it has an interest for me.
Right.
And to me, when I'm looking at my wish list, things that it's by looking at it, not even by reading it or buying it and listening to it, by looking at it, say, hey, it's give me a dopamine dose already. Just by saying, hey, when I have enough time or when I finish this one, I'm gonna read that one because I can't wait to see what Chris is talking about.
Right.
And when he said, this book says this and this book say, oh yeah, this is interesting to me. And so to me, having the knowledge of the people that have been gathering, not only did they gather the ideas, they orchestrated into a understandable
Digestible,
format,
yeah.
digestible, and then give to you 50 years instilled into your brain, in an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, however long it takes you to read the book, a day, don't matter. 50 years into a day, 50 years into a month. I mean, you're looking at the long tail here.
Dude, I mean, look at this journey. We're how many hours have you and I put into,
it's not how many hours you and I put in together. How many hours that we have been able to absorb from the people who is taking their time. So taking the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
How many years is that, right?
Oh my God,
that's like 50 years.
Yeah.
Taking the Taleb, that's another 50 years. That's 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Thinking fast and slow, right?
Right.
These two guys win a Nobel Prize for it. These two guys spend their whole career. That's like 40, 50 years. So that's 150 years from 3 books, right? So you're talking about of all the 300 times the number of years.
We're talking
I'm not talking about hours. This is years.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
and between me and you, right? I'm talking about so much years of knowledge have accumulated, and we're just basically just taking
condensing it down.
Just condense, absorb it in it, and then there's like hundreds of books in the wish list, right? That is continuing to come. That's like to think about it. This is one of the most amazing things, and this is what the Taleb is calling the long tail, right?
Right.
It's
Wait a minute. There is a book called The Long Tail by Chris.
But he also mentioned it. He also mentioned it in his book, Nassim.
Yeah, I told you about The Long Tail. You got to read The Long Tail. And you're like, what's The Long Tail? Now you brought it up now twice in this conversation. And I'm like, wait a minute. You do know what The Long Tail is. Why are you telling me you got to read this book, man?
What do you mean by long tail?
What the long tail is. What you're saying is what Taleb was talking about. Where the hell is the long tail? The long tail. Where are you at?
You can search.
There it is. Yeah, I have a 2-part reflection on the long tail coming up in the future.
Yeah, but that's in the future.
Well,
We haven't
I know,
talked about
but
it yet.
I sent you this book, and I was like, you got to read this book. It's called The Long Tail. It's really good. I think you'll really enjoy it. So you need to read
But
this
the
book.
thing is, you think about it, the word long tail has many meanings. It's a long horse tail. It's a, I don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. The fat
Okay,
hat and the long tail. Like, that's what that book's about. This
okay.
guy's like a prophecy. I mean, he wrote it back in like the early 2000s, and I swear to God, everything that he predicted in that book is 100% not just come true, but it's like spot on. It's unreal how accurate that book was. It's pretty amazing, actually. You should check it out for sure. Anyway, we got to put a pin in for tonight because we could talk about the anti-library forever. I feel like great conversation. Any final thoughts? Yeah, it is.
This is a good list of books. I mean, look
is.
at the blog, right, of 300 and some books that you read so far. Most of the books are really good. Not
With
a few of them are not so good, but most of them are good. And maybe take advantage of the anti-library that is already created for you. Just go and peruse the blog and see what books interest you and just read it.
That's one of the points of this whole entire journey. Is like, you get a book recommendation, you get a reflection, you get a, whatever, like, whatever you want to take.
We tell you what it is, right? How
Right.
good it is. If we like it, we don't like it, the lesson we learn from it. And
Right.
so it gives you a glimpse already, so you can pick and choose if it aligns with what you value or not.
And like, to your point about this being an anti-library for other people, which I agree, our little experiment going on at the company I work at is they reach out to me all the time now about like, hey, what do you recommend? And I just send them to this blog, and I'm like, here you go. Here's one. And they're like, oh, this is great. And then they come back to me and they're like, oh my God, I'm learning so much. They're having a blast about like the stuff that's appealing to them, and they come back to me with this, like, you see that spark in their eye, and they're just like, I can't believe I just learned that. This is incredible. And then they're like, what do you have next? And I'm like, what do you want? Here you go. And it feels so good to help other people. At the same time, it feels so good to know that spark in my own eye still exists out there. And I know that it will never diminish. The book that I just finished, The Way of Integrity, that one was a spark. Like, I was really, really liking it. And I can't wait to recommend that to you. It's a never ending anti-library for everybody. As long as you're willing to share and help other people.
It's a never ending dopamine, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
Dopamine treats, So to me, you think about it, just think for a second, right? Why are we so fascinated by traveling? Because we want to see things we haven't seen. Same thing is the book. I mean, a lot of times, yes, because some people don't like to read books because you have the negative emotions of trying to force themselves to read some books that they don't want to read for a class or whatever.
Right.
And they were reprimanded for not remembering the whatever. And so it brings in a negative emotions. But it's a universal human nature for us to want to explore and discover. Because you think about it, if we don't do that, we are basically a living dead because life is boring. Life is depressing.
Yeah. You do the same shit over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's tiresome.
Right. Maybe the first time you're like, this isn't that bad. They got some cool bars in the downtown area or something like that. But if you got to go back there every single damn day of your life, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is life. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Like, this is it. This is all I got. Like, I'm done. All right. We'll put a pin on this one. That was a fun discussion as always. The question we can leave for you all is what do you cherish more? The knowledge you consumed? Or maybe
it should be obvious to you by now.
But anyway,
if not, we need to have a talk.
I would agree. But hey, maybe they're seeing something we're not, and we can learn from them. So
yeah, I could learn from you. Well, let me know. Let me know if I'm missing something.
Right, exactly. Awesome. All right, man, that was fun. We'll see you all on Monday.
All right. See you. Good night.